Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. A few words about Ananda Ashram. I think that would be better for our introduction. This spiritual center was set up by our revered master, Param Pujya Swami Ramdas, endearingly called by devotees as beloved Papa, and his first and foremost disciple, Param Pujya Mataji Krishnabai. It was set up in 1931, May 15th. At the time of inauguration, Param Pujya Papa made it clear about the ideal of the ashram. He says, he doesn't use the word I. After scaling the heights, he was always using himself as the third person. Ramdas has the supreme delight to speak to you today a few words at the inauguration of this holy ashram. The ideal which the ashram holds before it is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in all beings and creatures of the world. Here, every man, woman or child, to whatever denomination, creed or caste the person may belong, shall have free access. This is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service so that what is realized within its walls may prove as an example for the right conduct of human life in the outside world. The Lord is our help and guide in all matters. May He, with all His bounty, shower His blessings on the great service which this home of love and bliss has undertaken to discharge. In this message, beloved Papa points out three important salient factors. One is universal love and service, based upon, it is not social service, based upon the vision of divinity, When Ashokji suggested that today's topic should be spirituality in workaday life, what is spirit? First knowing intellectually and then trying to experience the presence of the spirit. Then only we will be able to have this universal love and service. That means what is in common in all of us, that has to be identified first. The outcome of such an identification comes out in the form of love and service. Not that we love and service based upon individuals, that which is common in all of us. That common factor is called the spirit, Atman. How to do that? Our scriptures, our masters, all of them have given us many clues. Many of the seers in India, saints in India, who have plumbed deep within themselves, were able to unearth what exactly is the spirit. Spirit and matter, we have some idea. The matter gets activated because of the presence of the spirit. Spirit becomes expressive through the matter. Right from the beginning, we have not been informed about this. We have not been able to dissect these two. Though they are two sides of the same coin, still, unknowingly, unwittingly, we have been identifying ourselves with the matter. We have some basic idea about spirit, no doubt. So our master said, so many methods are there. Based upon his own experience, he revealed that the presence of the spirit can be realized through a triune path called Nam, Seva, Dhyana. First, we give a name to the spirit, the common factor. But before that, we should have some idea, no? Normally, so he says, you go to the origin of your and the world life. Normally, when we ask what is our origin, we say that we have come from our parents. True. They are the instrumental cause for our birth. Later on, we find that they are not the original cause because they were also born to their parents. They were also born to their parents. So which is the first cause? Our intellect cannot go beyond 2 or 3 generations. Ashokji was able to unearth up to 16 generations. But beyond that, then we come to know that our intellect cannot reach that, but at the same time we know only from something can come out. So since our intellect pleads its inability, we go to the Shastras. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the eternal seed of everything. Not only in one shloka, in various slokas, 7 or 8 slokas, he keeps on emphasizing that he is the eternal seed of everything. He stands for the spirit. So he is the eternal seed. Swami Nisargadatta Maharaj, to make it more clear, he immediately he asked his devotees, you are now identifying yourself with a me and mine, is it not? Was this me and mine consulted when you were conceived? You were not consulted. You did not know that. So the present me and mine was not there at the time of my mother conceiving me. So God gave us this life. In order to make it more clear, Lord Krishna also said, I come there in the form of life force. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. I am there in the form of life force. It is easy for us to understand. All of us know that the heart beats not because of us. The breathing goes not because of us. The blood circulates not because of us. The digestion takes place not because of us. There are such umpteen number of activities that are going on in our mind, not because of the present me and mine in us. Normally we label it as the life force. When the life ebbs away, all these activities come to halt. So we start. Because spirituality in worldly life, we must have some fair idea about the spirit. So the life force that is there in everybody. If everyone starts going back to their own origin, they will find that they cannot go beyond that. And finally we have faith in the words of our masters, our scriptures, And they say that Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu. In one of the slokas he says, Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father. Not only in the moving and also the unmoving, Charachara. So the first lesson we learn about spirit is that life force. Then comes the awareness. All of us are now hearing these words. All of us are seeing. They know that they are seeing. They know that they are hearing. They know that they are sitting. They know that they are the beingness. We have some idea about this awareness, consciousness. This is also there in the Bhagavad Gita. Then the question comes, why should we love all and serve all? When I was in the form of a seed in my mother's womb, this present me had no role. Later on, during the 9.5 months, as mothers know much better than us, more than 200 odd organs got set, beautifully, in which the me and mine had no role. And when I came out, I did not bring anything. Anything. Basically, essentially, I need air to breathe, water to drink, earth to exist, space to move about, 98.4 degrees to keep me alive. I need sun, rains, metals, minerals, gases. I need flowers, fruits, vegetables, pulses, trees. None of these things are brought by me, without which I cannot exist. And when I started growing, I started demanding one by one creature comfort for my comfortable life. And all these creature comforts have come from where? I have not brought anything. The same power which gave me life, which made me to develop these organs, which provided Mother Nature, also through its own selected human beings, chosen human beings, made them to probe into the various aspects of the fundamental raw materials and then brought one by one. When there is no specks in the world, he made him to think. When there is no dress in the world, when there is no language in the world, when there is no electricity in the world, just think. For that intelligence, primordial intelligence is necessary. So in Bhagavad Gita he says, Buddhir buddhivatamasmi. I am the intelligence of the intellect. So he is life force, he is consciousness, he is the primordial intelligence. This is there for everybody, every creation. Normally when we react to events and individuals, we start from our me and mine level, totally oblivious of our original nature. So the moment we start trying to identify the common factor in all of us, which is called God, the Atman, the Brahman. Collectively it is called Brahman, individually it is called Atman. Slowly we find there is a common factor emerging in our mind. It is there inherent. We are not aware of it. So Gurudev says, you give a name to this and start remembering him. We are not aware of his presence. So we have to become aware of his presence. To become aware of His presence, we have to remember Him. Easy way, it is not easy way in the sense, easy, the methodology is easy, that's all. Is to give a name and then chant. Though this nameless, formless, indwelling and all-pervading reality is there everywhere, it is beyond name and form. Since you and I have got name and form, it is very difficult for us to concentrate on a nameless, formless object to begin with. Because right from our young age, the moment we started knowing about ourselves, all our sense organs are going out through our sense organs. Out, out, out. Everything objectified. Whereas the life principle is not an object, it is the very subject. It cannot be objectified. So first we give a name. So he named this, he first identified, labeled this Atman as the subtle and mysterious power. And he gave a name, Ram. So chanting of Ram Nam, he started with this background. It is not limited to any particular form, but it also includes every form. Lord Ramchandramurti of Ayodhya, his name is also Ram. In this temple there are various murtis. All these murtis are the various expressions of the same power. It is easy for us to offer our worship to a form. It is easy for us to remember him through a name. So Nama chanting. There the Nama is Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om stands for the Nirguna Nirakara aspect, the nameless, formless aspect. Ram stands for the Saguna Sakara aspect, in the form of all creation. Ram stands for both and beyond both. Om Shri Ram. Jai stands for victory. Victory to that power who is beyond name and form, who is with the name and form, who is both and beyond both. This is the meaning of that mantra. So he started chanting Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram to remember him. And then comes, nobody will be able to chant throughout their waking state. 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour or 1 hour, or occasion like this probably for a little more time, or when we go to an ashram, we spend more time. Normally, God has also given us family, profession, society. So when we are expressing ourselves in these 3 tiers, how do we try to keep up the constant remembrance? So to keep up the constant remembrance, every act of ours, right from the tiniest to the grossest, we try to ensure that it has got a touch of love, a touch of perfection, a touch of dedication, and a touch of gratitude. When we handle anything, early morning when we take the brush, immediately we think, not only that you gave me a life, a body, but you also provided this creature comforts to make us all right. You prompted somebody. When we made a little research on this, we came to know that a Dr. Addis from United States, it was he who brought this brush. Similarly, through so many of his instruments, he brought out various. So we try to remember. At least we don't know the author of every creature comfort we are enjoying. We don't know who brought us this language because of which we can communicate. What a great gift He has given. How do we pray? How do we communicate with our co-creations? We normally take everything as granted. So whenever we handle anything, we use it with love. From the tiniest to the grossest. Nothing is irrelevant, nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant. While handling anything, this should be writ large. Parampujya Papa used to say, outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to remember Him. So whether at home, whether we are cooking, whether we are cleaning the vessels, whether we are arranging everything in it, when we go to the field of profession, whatever work we are doing, and in the evening when we are with our friends, wherever we are, whatever we are, we try to bring in a touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of dedication, touch of gratitude. This is Seva. When we try to translate these slowly, it may not be possible for us to immediately do that. When we fold to the chair, we remember now. When we drive the vehicle, we remember now. When there was no automobile, you made somebody to discover, invent, innovate, so many things. Anything and everything, That is why in Bhagavad Gita he says Charajaram. Both the moving and the non-moving. There is no play, there is nothing that it has not had its touch. So when we are handling everything, we are having the touch of divine touch. So when Papa said, based upon a vision of divinity, means constant becoming aware of His greatest bounty to us, in the form of all creature comforts, in the form of Mother Nature. When we take, when we go to the bazaar, when we buy Karela, when we buy Vitral gourd or lady's finger or any vegetables, just to think, it was a gift of a Mother Nature. But some individual had to identify and declare, that this is a vegetable, this is edible, you can use it, this is good for health. Somebody has to declare. We don't think about it. Because we view it from our me and mind level. Me and mind level starts only when we have established ourselves as an individual. So when he says the vision of divinity means we try to remember Him through chanting and trying to feel His presence in the form of love, perfection, dedication and gratitude. We don't know who. Now when we talk to you in the amplifier, we don't know the person. When we see the bottle of water, water is given by Mother Nature, but the bottle container. So Vinobaji, I don't know whether you have heard, there was a great saint called Vinoba Bhave, who was the disciple of Mahatmaji. He used to say that he has written a book called Talks on Gita, the essence of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as he looked at it. In the 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, he says, there are only 3 things in this world. One is me, the sense of individuality, Bhakta. The second is the indwelling reality, He, the Bhagavan. And rest of the things are articles of worship. Here we offer, certain, symbolically, some items as worship to make us know that everything is an article of worship. So we try to handle everything with that spirit. This is why slowly Gita is entering into us. Spirituality is entering into us. That means there is no time or no space where the God dimension is not. When we are talking about spirituality in daily life, probably we are under the impression there are two divisions. One is spiritual life and the other is material life. When we go to ashram, when we go to temple, when we take to sannyas, when we do some Vedadhyayan, when the tapasya, when austerities, when we perform, they are all called, when we do bhajan, when we do ramnam, they are all spiritual. When we lead a family life, professional life, social life, we say it is all worldly. No. Papa has demolished the barrier between these two. Everything is spiritual. It is He who gave us the family life. It is He who gave us the professional life. It is He who gave us the social life. So there is no divide. So to remember Him, of all the three, one more is there, Dhyana. So when we try to practice Namasmaran as much as possible, intensely, and then when we try to translate in our daily workaday attitude, a stage comes when the mind becomes relatively calm, passive, sober, serene. Then we try to go within to feel His presence. The moment we close our eyes and start the inward journey, so many thoughts rush in. Because it has been trained only to think about objects. Never about the power behind the seeing, never behind the power behind the hearing, power behind the thinking, power behind the tasting, power behind the touching, power behind the smelling. No. So it is a tough job. So at that time Gurudev says, you chant. There are three types of chanting. One is vocal, what we have heard now. While chanting, vocally chanting also, he suggests that we should chant the name with the feeling that we are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making us to chant. We are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making us to chant. The life force. And then, when we keep on chanting with this attitude, it serves as a fence to arrest the outgoing tendencies of the mind. The mind, according to him, the name absorbs. It prevents the mind going out. It may be for a short time, doesn't matter. And when we have out of practice only, repeated performance, out of trial and error, everything we have gained in this life only through repeated performance. We call it as abhyas, practice, regular practice. Then we move to the second stage, which is called silent chanting. There the sound will not come, lip and tongue will move, but we should chant with the feeling that we are chanting the name of one who is inside, who is making me to chant. This is a little more subtle, so the mind will resist. After 2 or 3 or 4 or chanting, the mind will go out, open, restart. No shortcut. When we have sufficiently practiced this, the final graduation is mental chanting, where the sound will not come, lip and tongue will not move, but the mind will chant with the feeling that we are chanting the name of one who is within and who is making us to chant. It is the toughest. But Gurudev assures that with commitment, with firm determination, when we pursue this daily for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 minute or 2 minutes, slowly we will try to tame the mind, and get itself fixed on the name, on the sound of the name. And then, by His grace, one day, He will make us feel the chanting is going on. Who is knowing the chanting? Who is chanting? The chanting stops. We get a glimpse. It might be only for a trice, fraction of a second. But He has now taken us to the door and just open. Again it gets closed, mind. And this is called Dhyana. Then our effort is to get stabilized in it. When these words are uttered, there are gaps. Silence is there, as the base. So through the sound, we try to understand the silence. Through chanting, we try to go past chanting, beyond chanting. Only when the thoughts are there, the division is there. We all know that in our deep sleep, there is no outer world for us. There is no division for us. But there we don't know who really we are. But here the seers have promised, our scriptures have promised, that we will know who really we are. So the indwelling reality, which is also the all-pervading reality, is the base from which the sense of individuality is now floating. So the sense of individuality is now, by regular practice, not only chanting, but not only translating into our daily life, but also trying to feel His presence inside. We try to find the common denominator, the common factor in all creations. It comes out in the form of spontaneous love, spontaneous service. It is not a product of a thought. When you sit before the TV and look at the going through the news, God forbid, suppose there you find there is an earthquake or a tsunami in a different part of the world. You watch yourself spontaneously. What is your reaction? Oh God. No. Suddenly you get connected to the cosmic reality. If anywhere on the earth anything happens good, you feel happy. Anywhere on the earth, if anything happens, deplorable, you immediately feel affected for a second. Then you come back to your me and mind level, I am not affected. Okay. But our basic, inherent, intrinsic content immediately tries to align itself with the cosmic reality. So this is how the universal love and service becomes slowly a reality. It is certainly not a product of a thought. It is spontaneous in nature. And the spirituality in daily life, it also becomes spontaneous. How do we get this spontaneity? Not by knowledge, by kindling the inner content in us. In good old days, probably some of you might know, elderly people, or may not know, we were all using firewood, to cook, ovens. And every now and then we have to see that it is not put out. So we use a smoke pipe to keep it aflame. So we have to devise some method by which we intellectually know now, through our scriptures, through our, Joshiji was rendering a song on Guru. And you all remember some words. Manu Mandir unka dham hai na. You see, connect of that. So we need a guru, a spiritual preceptor to tell us, otherwise we may not know. There are two types of scientists, spiritual scientist and material scientist. Spiritual scientists have done the plumbing deep within to find out this. And the Spirit prompted another set of people to go deep into the matter so that the standard of living can be improved by bringing out so many creature comforts. Spiritual science ensures us the common denominator in all of us. That means the quality of life is improved. Here the standard of living is improved. That is why we said it is the two sides of the same coin. Spirit and matter are not different. Bhakta and Bhagavan are not different. Bhakta needs Bhagavan to exist. Bhagavan needs Bhakta to express himself. Otherwise, how will we know? Only through the creation, the Creator can be known. Without the Creator, the creation cannot exist. So if we understand this properly, we try to understand that the Creator is not one. He is there in everybody. Whenever time permits, whenever He prompts us from within, during our off hours, we try to get ourselves associated with these thoughts, like Satsang today. Any bhajan is glorifying Him. Initially it is glorifying the form, but Manamandir Unka Dham, that is the place where He is there. But to make us know the figure that we adore here, it has come from a matter marble, no? It was done by a human being, sculptor. He was given a photo. When we go and ask, I don't know the procedure here, in India, in Kerala, when somebody is prompted from within to have a temple, they go to a Jyotishi, and the Jyotishi will come there, and he has a process by which he will tell us, yes, the time has come for a building of a temple dedicated to this particular deity. Because people may be worshipping the deity for a quite long time. The devotion they have developed. It is coming from within. It is now reaching a state where it can be translated into the form of a deity of a temple. So then there are certain procedures. Then we go to the Shilpi, called the sculptor, who he will ask, have you got a photo? Suppose you don't have a photo. We said we want Lord Ganesha. Then he will say, he will show us so many. Okay, we select. Then that is given to the sculptor. And the sculptor starts carving it out from a raw marble or a granite. We had a discussion with the person who were handling it. It was very touching. He said right from the start up to the finish, it is only by His grace this is possible. Because we have come up to some stage, suppose inadvertently, our chisel works on a different, the whole thing is gone, And he was also telling us the last thing that we do is the eye. Because everyone looks at the eye. For decades together, for centuries together, this is going to be a point of center of inspiration to many, 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 many people. So all that we pray to Him is, please give life to your eyes. And with that bhavana, He carves out. Okay, still it's a product of the Shilpi. And then when it is come out, there are certain rituals. Here we don't know whether you know that Tantri. A Tantri who has undergone all these tapasya, who is well rooted in these austerities, who has established or who has had a glimpse of the indwelling reality, prana. He is in the form of prana, life force. And he superimposes, invokes the prana on the vigraha, prana pratishta. Before that, there are so many rituals, and then it becomes a deity. It becomes a center for inspiration. So people who are involved in various activities, who find it difficult to go within easily, for them God has provided, I am also available in the form. Yo yo yam yam tanur bhaktya. In Bhagavad Gita he says, in whatever form you want me, I am there. In the form of Lord Krishna, in the form of Lord Rama, in the form of Lord Maheshwara, in the form of Lord Goddess Durga, Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Mahalakshmi. In whatever form you want, Lord Hanuman, Lord Ramachandra, any, I am prepared. All that I want you to know is that He is there everywhere. Initially we try to localize, but ultimately we should be able to transcend. There is a great saint in Kerala called Sri Narayana Guru. He had installed a big mirror in the temple. Early morning when we have our bath, we place ourselves before the mirror to make ourselves presentable to the world outside, is it not? Not to look at anybody else, to look at ourselves. So according to him, the deity represents the indwelling reality in us. So when we come here, when we do namaskar, knowingly, probably unknowingly, we are closing our eyes, don't you think? And we do namaskar. We have come all the way from different places for the darshan of the deity. But when we prostrate, we close our eyes. When Joshiji performs the arati, we look at it and then we look. Unknowingly, we try to awaken, become aware of the indwelling reality. So that is how the temples have come. And now you see so many people from different walks of life. He has been able to bring them in one place, so that our universality takes a small shape, Here you meet people, you say hello, hello. The affinity started building up. In one go, we may not be able to grow and embrace the whole universe. First our family, friends, elders, colleagues, bosses, customers, and then get together, society. Slowly we try to widen our love circle. And when we come here, each one tries to look after others. There is no seat, immediately somebody will give little act. This is translating spirituality in daily life. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, it's called Bhakti Yoga. The last 7 slokas, Bhagavan says he defines who is my dearest devotee. That means to qualify ourselves to become his devotee, what should I do? When we are talking about spirituality in daily life, it gives us some clues, because it is connected with our daily life. It starts with Adveshta Sarvabhudanam Maitra Karuna Evaja Nirmamo Nirahankara Samadukha Sugakshami Santushta Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dridhanishchayaha Mayarpita Manobuddhihi Yomad Bhakta Samepriya. Adveshta Sarvabhudanam, malice towards none. He who hates no creature, who is friendly and compassionate towards all, Maitra Karuna, who is free from the feelings of me and mine, I and mine, Nirmamo, Nirahankar, Sama Dukkha Sukha Shami, equal-minded in pain and pleasure. Shami, forbearing. Santushta, ever content. Satatam yogi, steady in meditation. Yoga means not merely this physical exercise. The word yoga stands for union with God. Yoga Shastra. So, steady in meditation, self-control, satatam yogi, yatatma dridhanishya, possessed a firm conviction, mayarpida manobuddhihi, with mind and intellect fixed on me, one who is devoted to me, he is dear to me. There are like 7 slokas like this. In order to understand this, these are all nice words. There is a beautiful quotation of our Gurudev that will give us some clues to identify this. The world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. The world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. We remember one of our devotees shared his experience. His father was an employee in working in a British firm in those days when India was ruled by British in Bombay. So the attendant, he was irregular, never comes on time. Many a times he was warned. Finally a stage came when everybody started murmuring, some action has to be taken. So the boss said, okay, discharge him, dismiss him. He was dismissed. After 6 months, he came back again. He said, I got a new job, but I want a job certificate, contact certificate. So the devotee's father, he said, how can I give you? You were discharged because you were irregular. Anyway, I will have a word with the boss. So he went inside. He was a Britisher. Says, sir, he has come again for a contact certificate. Give him a first-class contact certificate. Now, how can we? It's all right. How do you know that he has not changed? The very fact that he has come here and asked for it means there is a transformation, no? If the ego is predominant, he will not come in. No? There is a transformation has taken place. Give him a good certificate. When we read about this, Adveshta Sarvabhutana, this is translated into our very life. How do we understand? Only this way. How do we understand universal love and service? Only this way. We will show you one more incident. One day, these are all contemporary anecdotes. One housewife, she's also employed. She was going for a morning walk. Suddenly, 2 young people, they came in a motorbike, slowed down when they reached her, snatched her chain, went away. Immediately, she reported this to the police station, and somehow the police were able to catch them. And her husband's name is Priyadas. Mrs. Priyadas, the wife of an industrialist, got burgled of her valuables. After a couple of days, the police caught the 2 thieves who were in their early 20s. Priyadas and wife were called to the police station and the booty was intact. The police officer asked Priyadas how he would like to deal with them. Instead of feeling animosity towards them, he replied, if they resolve not to resort to such negative activities in future, I am willing to employ them in my factory. They were released from the lockup. And later on we found out from this narration that not only that they became an employee, they became the trusted employees. Adveshta Sarvabhutana. Prior to coming to Ashram on a full-time basis, we were working with a Jain in the management of his coffee estate. We had gone somewhere and came back in the night at about 12:30, 1 o'clock. We had our room. Before he went to his bedroom, he went to the washroom. And even after 10, we could see the light. It was outside, unlike today what we see inside the house, it was all outside. So we heard some sound. Then we asked him what happened. He says a snake got entrapped in the septic tank. So we immediately rushed up with a torch. And then he said as soon as he came in, the snake was there. In its excitement, it got into the commode. And there, the septic tank is attached to the commode. A dead of night, mind you. So he was trying to remove the slab. There will be slab on that. You know what it is inside. So somehow we also joined and removed the slab. And with the torch we were able to see it struggling. So we tried to lower a ladder with a gunny bag, and somehow with the torch was leading, and somehow after so many resistance, the snake somehow leapt into the ladder, took away, left it. It was a cobra. Immediately it went. When we say Sarva Bhutana, not only to human beings, anything. To the extent we can possibly do that. Even in Bhagavad Gita he says, Swarpam apyasya dharmasya. Even if I do 5%, 1%, 2%, 10%, that will not go in vain. I may not be able to save the whole thing. The same Jain, when he drives, in the evening, at about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, when the headlight is on, naturally so many flies will come. And they get stuck in the radiator. In the jeep. Immediately he will jump out, stop the vehicle, jump out, go there, save as much as possible and do it. So we used to ask him. Then he used to say, so much saved, We may not be able to save the whole thing. Whatever can be saved, can be saved, So when Papa said, the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us. So when we go through Bhagavad Gita, it is not a tall talk. It is something, it's a verifiable truth. It is truth verified by everybody, but we also should verify. Then only it becomes ours. Today we are reliving those moments and telling you. So similarly, God is parading before us so many such incidents before us to make us know of His real life. We may not become aware of it. Now we start knowing it. It is nearing 8. We will go through one more. So next one is Adveshta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karuneya. Maitra, friendship. Not only that we should be free from malice, we should also be friendly with others. Don Ritchie, an Australian living by a cliff, has prevented around 160 suicides in his 50 years of living there by striking up a conversation with people attempting to commit suicide and inviting them to his house for tea. Such a friendly gesture of his changes the heart of such a dispirited person, helps them regain confidence and grit to face any challenges in life. See his face, how blissful. Small things, not big things. Whatever is possible. Today's topic is spirituality in daily life. Previously we were thinking it is not possible for ordinary people. Everybody is, because God is within us. God is also making us to watch these. He is parading before everybody and He is impartial. It is not reserved for ascetics or yogis or sannyasis or mahatmas. It is available before us, everybody. They are all ordinary people. I too doing extraordinary things. So I think that would be better, no? So you can show that quotation. The world we live in is a school. So these are all, some points. So let us try to understand this, that God is within every one of us in the form of life force, in the form of awareness, in the form of intelligence. We did not bring anything when we came here. Everything has been given to us. Whatever we do, we try to do, we remember Him. Of the three, Gurudev gives importance for chanting more. Because whenever I fail or forget in my Seva, suppose when I go to the bathroom and use my soap and I haphazardly put it, immediately the Nama will pull us up. Has not that soap helped you to cleanse your body? Is this the way to treat? Immediately you say, sorry, take it, wrap it with a dry cloth, put it there. No? Whenever I go off the line, Nama will pull me up. So maximum importance is given for Nama chanting. So even if we are doing it for 5 minutes, let it be intense, that's what he says. The effect of which, the impact of which will remain with us for a longer time. And the second thing is Seva, and third thing is Dhyana. And the outcome will be, we are trying to slowly come out of the me and mine. Because we become aware of the bounteous gifts given by, I exist not because of me, I first understand. I am what I am because of the factors other than me. First and foremost thing. So that gratitude enables me to get out of the cocooned me and mine. No? I have put myself in a cage of me and mine. I try to slowly open the cage. That will pave the way to universalize my vision. And nothing is irrelevant, nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant. I keep on harping on my brain so that nothing escapes my attention. Everything is due. Everybody is important. Everything is important. I may differ with people. I may have to take some action if I am in the professional field, but I will not harbor any ill will towards him. For the sake of the dharma, I may be taking some action, but at the same time keeping the individual away from it. My love towards the individual remains intact. In this connection, we would like to share, because many of us are going through such things, We were working in an estate, a lot of laborers are there. There will be some of the acts which are not in line with the smooth functioning of the estate, so we have to take disciplinary action. Starting from show cause and then, suspension, charge sheet, domestic inquiry, and finally the dismissal. After that, the labor department will call for conciliation. So when we go there, in our vehicle when we go there, he will also be there at the gate. We will take him. It was boss, the Jain, specifically said, always separate the individual from the things done. We are only punishing for the things done. And when we go there, he sits on the other side, asks for reinstatement, we say we cannot do it. There will be so many arguments and come out of it, where are you to be dropped? And then we tell him, we have nothing against you. You justified. If all the employees start justifying their own action, can we run the organization? That is why we have to take this action, not because we want to put you in trouble. And later on, I tell you, after 5 or 6 months, they realize, they come back, withdraw the case, set cash settlement, And then after 6 months when they come, they don't get any work, we give them work. So through that Jain, he was telling us that we can separate, even while dealing with all vyavaharic dealings, where we have such tremendous challenges God will make us to meet with. There we should be able to discern, to sift the individual from the acts done by him. And we continue. So ultimately, spirituality in worldly life means harmony at home, harmony at workplace, harmony with friends. All our spiritual activities should ultimately result in giving us these three types of harmony. Harmony at home. That is the first field God has given us to try. And harmony at workplace, which is helping us to eke out our livelihood, which ensures our comfortable life, which gives us something in the society. And then harmony with friends. So let us all pray to him who has been gracious enough to shower his bounteous blessings on us in the form of life. As we entered, the president was telling, when Ashokji introduced us, Manava Janma he gave. Yeah, it's a beautiful word. We were remembering the sloga in Vivek Chudamani. In Adi Shankara says, there are three things that are very rare. Durlabam trayamevai tad, Deivanugraha hetukam, Manishyatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurusha Samshraya. These three things are rare of the rarest. One is human birth. And the second is a desire to expand, Mumukshatvam, expand. From the limited to the unlimited, from the me to we, And the third one is association with great souls. So, we have been blessed with all these three. We pray to him, make us to eke out the maximum benefit out of this Manushya Janma, so that I become worthy of your servant, worthy of your instrument, so that you make me feel fullness inside, and with the result, you make me instrumental in making fullness to the rest of the creation with whom you make me to come in contact with.
My question was, when you do the chanting, especially the vocal chanting, when you are saying it aloud?
Pardon?
When you do the vocal chanting,
then...
silent chanting?
No, vocal. When you're
Vocal.
saying
vocal chanting.
So, what do you do, your mind? How do you try to visualize the image of Ram? Let's say you're saying Jai Jai Ram. Do you visualize Ram in your mind? How do you keep that focus?
Any method can be used. If we are devoted to one deity, Ram or Guru, anyone, when we chant, we should know that the name stands for that reality, who is without name and form, but who he has kindled in me through this form. So initially we can bring any form that we like. And whenever the mind goes out, open, restart, open, restart, open, restart. So there is nothing wrong in bringing the form into our mind. Any form that we are comfortable with. Whether we are in a position to concentrate for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, let us not bother. Let us not get discouraged, dispirited, dejected. Immediately we open. When the mind goes out, open, restart, open, restart, open, restart. And finally you will find he blesses us with that. Something that we cannot explain. So even when we do that 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it should be intense. The moment the mind goes out, mind will go out. Even now when this chanting is going on, mind may go out. It is a special training we have to do every day. We are doing it for this training for everything else. When we were studying, we were concentrating, When we go for an orientation course in the professional field, we exclusively concentrate upon that, withdrawing ourselves from the common run of things. Similarly, here also we have to employ any method that is okay. Form, okay. Formless, okay. A deity's form, guru's form, anything is okay. The difference between Bhaktotamas and us are people like, Mahatmas like Mirabai, Tukaram, Namdev, Tyaga Brahmam, Purandara Das. To them, the devotion was 24/7. To us, when we go to temple, we remember for a few seconds and we are back to square one. And Papa used to say that when we see, unknowingly we localize, If we are to remember his own words, hanging on to an external prop in spiritual matters is a hindrance because the center of interest gets cramped and localized, denying you the flexibility for expansion. For example, when we go to a temple, we go to Balaji temple, Tirupati. We stand there in queue for so many hours. We spend a lot of money. And then we get 1 minute or 2 minutes when we are before the sanctum sanctorum. And we come out, I ask you, how is it? Wonderful darshan. But while coming back, we leave Balaji there. Whereas Balaji is in everyone. Initially we leave Balaji there, later on we should develop that Balaji is in wherever. To know that he has taken us to this particular place. In that way, the form worship can be transformed into a formless worship. He is there in a particular form. Through that form, we are trying to see the formless. So initially, there is nothing wrong if we concentrate on the form when we chant. But later on, we develop. Then only it becomes universal, A person who is a deity of another, a devotee of another deity, a person who is a believer or a non-believer, a person who does not know anything about it, in him also he is there, in the form of life force. So if it has to become universal, ultimately we should know that he is beyond name and form. He is also with name and form. So nothing wrong initially to concentrate on any form that comes to our mind. Initially we have to do this, Jagada will be going on. 1 minute, 2 minutes, again we go mind, again open. There is no other shortcut excepting to open and restart, open and restart, open and restart. But our outer activities, it depends. It should be compatible. If I shout at others, if I become self-centered, and if I become so much egoistic, and if I sit for nama, it will not allow me. That is why he said it should go, harmonize. Outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to remember him through chanting his name. So I must extend. He is also available in the form of co-creation. So what matters in the non-chanting time is relevant to our chanting time.
My question is, जब हम भगवान राम की चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं, हनुमान जी की कर रहे हैं, फिर दिमाग में आता उसी टाइम राइट अवे कि विष्णु जी की भी कर लें साथ के साथ, शिव जी की भी कर लें, तो ऐसा क्यों होता है?
When you are doing one chanting, the mind goes, why don't we do the other deities puja, next puja? Why does it happen? Why it's not fixed to one? Correct, ma?
Yeah, if I am chanting Bhagwan Ram ka naam, then immediately dimag mein, I get in my mind that no, I should worship Vishnu ji also, I should worship Mata ka, I should worship, Ganesh ji and Mahesh ji and all that. So how to concentrate that? Only one time I get only one Bhagwan ji in my mind, and then continue that, or should we do that one day Hanuman ji ka, second day Vishnu ji ka? If you can, I know this is not a good question or temple.
It's a good question. It's a good question. When we prepare our meal, we have different dishes, We have different dishes. But ultimately everything is a food. It goes inside. Right from our childhood, the tradition is, in India, I don't know about here, Everywhere there will be a puja room in every house. So right from our childhood, the moment we start knowing about ourselves, for example, in our case, Shirdi Baba was the chosen deity. So his photo will be there. So right from childhood, we develop devotion. Okay? At the same time, we are taken to some other temple. Then this confusion will immediately come. Whether I should bow down before Shirdi Baba or before Lord Krishna. And a stage comes. When it becomes intense, God provides suitable clarification through scripture. He will make us to go through the scriptures. So those who want in different forms, because of the certain traditions or customs they are following, for example here, when you come here, there are different deities. We bow down before everyone, thinking that they are all the forms of the same. Always if you feel that they are all forms of the same principle, we need varieties, You don't dress the same way every day. You don't eat the same menu every day. Human nature is that we should have varieties. So everybody will not be able to concentrate upon one deity or a formless deity. So that is why God himself has allowed himself to be worshipped in different forms. So, but you should know God is only one. I am there in everything. So when we try to bow down here, bow down here, bow down there, we try to develop this. You are there in the form of Lord Krishna. You are there in the form of Lord Ramchandra. You are there in the Lord of Parameshwara. You are there in the form of Ganesh. You are in the form of Mahalakshmi. So many deities. But you are all same. Different facets, different aspects of the divinity has been presented to us in different forms of deities. Because he is the creator, protector, destroyer. All these things are symbolically represented through different forms. So suppose we keep on hammering. Initially there will be confusion, but later on we keep on hammering that the one same principle is coming out manifested through. Vinobaji used to say, the same artist, with the same brush, on the same canvas, brings out different pictures. Different caricatures. But the creator is one. But all these creatures evoke different emotions in us. Is it not? So similarly, he has brought out in his variety, in the form of so many deities, through any door, entry is there. Not that only one door. Unlike other Semitic religions, here, he gives us the freedom, democratic freedom. You might be remembering even in Bhagavad Gita, on the 18th chapter, when he gives a long lecture, he tells Arjuna, I have told you this, but you can choose anything. Yathechasi tatha kuru. So similarly, we are given the password. Whatever password you use, we can enter. Ramnam, Shivanam. Papa was asked whether instead of Ramnam, in any name of God. That is the real password to divinity. So any form, perfectly all right. But we should know that one principle is appearing in many forms.
So you have said, everyone, everything is divine. Should see divinity in everyone.
Everything is divine, and we should see divinity in everything.
Yeah.
A little louder.
Okay. So you have said everything and everyone is divine. It does become difficult on a human basis to see divinity in someone who has done some hurt to you, some harm, has been unkind to you, and on a world stage, you can think of so-called perpetrators of evil who have, caused a lot of harm to society. So how do we see divinity in them?
God is there in all equally. But this is not a matter of knowledge. This can be explained to us, or this can be known to us only after we go through the whole process. At this level, you are 100% right. But we have been asked to raise ourselves a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. When we keep on raising ourselves to higher levels, we will find all these things find a place. At this level, absolutely right. When somebody misbehaves, who is known to us, who is loved by us, what is our attitude towards him? When an outsider does, what is our attitude towards him? Somebody vomits here. Immediately we say, does he not have any common sense? This is a common place. He should go to the washroom and do it. But suppose it happens to be my own father, elderly father. Don't worry, no, I will clean it, no. So it depends upon how we look at it. That means we are raising ourselves from a higher level. If we see from the same level, you are 100% right. So spirituality enables us to raise ourselves to a higher level. Deplorable things are happening. We have been prompted to react. We are not supposed to keep quiet. But at the same time, we know he has been prompted to do, we have been prompted to do this. Papa used to say, God prompts somebody to steal. The same God prompts the police to catch hold of him. The same God prompts the magistrate to give him punishment. And each one, why is he doing? Because of his karmic wrangle. We try to understand, all of us have got this human birth, this human body, mind, intellect, equipment, only because of our karmic wrangle. What we have brought forward from our previous one. So he is doing it because of his karmic wrangle. We are reacting to it because he prompts us to do, and that is our karmic wrangle. But at the same time, we try to, as we said, in the case of that estate, we try to sift the individual from the work done. We punish them, not with vengeance, not with biased attitude, only for the sake of dharma. That is why he brought jurisprudence, police, intelligence, so many things he has done, everything is God's. We don't have to think that we have done this. When he created this, he knows the society will be like this. So he has given importance for every aspect. Before there was no judge, before there was no jurisprudence, just imagine. So when he started knowing that his creation, because of their ignorance of their original nature, when they shrink themselves to me and mine, they commit such things for their own interest, in total disregard to the interest of others. There should be some way to maintain the social fabric. So for that he introduced this jurisprudence, and as an appendage to it, the police force, the law and order machinery, the lawyers, so many things. Everything is his. We don't have to think that only this, no. Divinity means everything is this. Perfection in everything. Love will be there. When Puja Mataji used to take devotees into task, she used to take them into task. Why she is taking to task, She keeps that love intact. You will suffer. I don't want you to suffer. That is why I am scolding you. So the underlying principle is love. Outwardly it may be in the form of punishment, in the form of love, in the form of scolding, in the form of finding fault, in the form of criticism. But base, love. Love is divinity. It may be difficult. Now when you look at here, you see only limited, no? When you go to the mountain top, you find the spectrum widens. When you see, when the aircraft lowers down, beautiful sight, You will not see anything wrong. When you come down to the level, you will say debris is there, plastic is there, nauseating smell is there. On those things you will say. But when you rise higher, you don't see that. So when we are experiencing this, it shows that when we raise our level to a little higher, little more higher, everything becomes fine. That means the love circle, when it keeps on widening, our attitude changes, not that this world changes. World will be exactly like this only. Even after 1,000 years it will be like this only. But our attitude will change. Adveshta sarvabhutana, that will come. Thank you all very much for your attentive and patient hearing. Thank you. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.